Welcome to this special Darshan Dhuni, where we honor Avatar Meher Baba, his message of love and truth, and his presence at Meher Mount. Meher Mount was founded for Meher Baba 75 years ago this year. In this space where I am standing will be the Darshan Courtyard. It's the site of the Baba room where Meher Baba gave Darshan, or his blessing, to his followers on August 2nd, 1956. After Meher Baba and the two buses of his followers had arrived, he called everyone into the Baba room. We all went inside and sat wherever we could, all sort of crowded around Baba, but in a comfortable way, said Darwin Shaw. He was with him that day. He said, Baba sat where everyone could see him. He seemed very relaxed and happy to be among his lovers. The Baba room was destroyed by wildfire in 1985. Yet this stone fireplace, chimney, Baba's fireplace we call it, remains as a touchstone of his visit and of the presence of the divine in our lives. The Darshan Courtyard, next to Baba's fireplace, is to be an intimate space that evokes that Baba room, where visitors can sit, reflect, meditate if they wish, enjoy the outdoors, and remember the divine. The courtyard is connected to Baba's tree through these benches, which are made from fallen wood from Baba's tree, and also through a pillar, which will be located about where Baba sat, and that represents Baba's tree, and the trellis is going to be layered to represent the canopy of a tree. So many memories of tying together the tree and the courtyard and the fireplace. In building the Darshan Courtyard, the Meher Mount team wanted to create a way for followers of Meher Baba from around the world to feel connected to him and to his presence at Meher Mount. All were invited to send a personally meaningful Meher Baba quote to be part of the foundation of this Darshan Courtyard in the form of Dhuni ashes. Lighting the Dhuni with wood from Baba's tree now are manager caretakers Ellen Kwiatkowski and Eric Carlson. And as they light the fire, I'll say a few words about the Dhuni itself. Dhuni is loosely translated as a sacred fire. There's a Dhuni on the 12th of every month at Meherabad, India, near Baba's tomb shrine, as directed by him. Today, each personally meaningful quote and the name of the person who sent it will be read aloud and placed in the Dhuni. More than 185 individuals from 10 countries sent their Baba quotes on wings of love. Later, when construction begins, these ashes will be placed under the foundation on the spot where Meher Baba sat in the chair in the Baba room. And we're now going to proceed in a few minutes with sharing the quotes from people's hearts. They're Baba's quotes from all the hearts of the people who sent them. And I'm going to start with a quote from Agnes Barron, who was co-founder of Meher Mount and for 48 years the caretaker. And she told me this was her favorite quote from Meher Baba, and it speaks of the universal nature of God. One is Agnes Barron. Next, I'll read one more quote. All souls, Atmas, were, are, and will be in the Oversoul, Paramatma. Souls, Atmas, are all one. All souls are infinite and eternal. They are formless. All souls are one. There is no difference in souls or in their being and existence as souls. That's from Hugh Flick.
As Baba works on these words that he gives out, he attaches to each word a spiritual energy of great quantity, great proportion, and the individual who takes the trouble, even without understanding, to read Baba's words, taps into this gift of spiritual energy, which the Avatar has attached to his own words. Margaret Magnus.
Now go out and see the view and try to love Baba through nature. This is all due to my love. This whole creation, this nature, all the beauty you see, all came out of me. Robert Turnage, Leslie and Samantha Bridger.
Long for what is real. You will then have no time for worrying over what may happen. Kristina Somma. A joyful heart will help you most to get strong. Diana LePage.
Things that are real are given and received in silence. God has been everlasting, working in silence, unobserved, unheard, except by those who experience his infinite silence. Fred Stankus, Yehudin Abramson, Leslie Callerman, Anna Lovelell, Gita Raju, Raduji, and Nader Ghaffari.
I am the one so many seek and so few find. Jim Whedon. God cannot be explained. He cannot be argued about. He cannot be theorized, nor can he be discussed and understood. God can only be lived. Juan Mendez. I am the divine beloved who loves you more than you can ever love yourself. Agnes Montano.
I bring the greatest treasure it is possible for man to receive, a treasure that includes all other treasures, that will endure forever, that increases when shared with others. Be ready to receive it. Bing Heckman and Dagmar Lai. When you become mine, then you will find I am already yours. Vicki Alberts.
Because I love you, you have a pool of love within you. When you feel wretched, when you fall in your weakness, have a dip in that pool of my love within you. It is always there. Karen Blackmore. Whatever you face in the world, I am facing it along with you. I will never leave you. I am always with you. Marissa Fuentes.
If you don't want to be old before your time, be cheerful in deed and word and in appearance. Most of all, in appearance. It is a divine art to look cheerful. It helps others. Lois Jones, Ron Halsey.
I belong to no religion. My religion is love. Every heart is my temple. Steve Bostwick. And another quote, my gift to you is your remembrance of me. Manouchehr-Pour.
When the mind soars in pursuit of things conceived in space, it pursues emptiness. But when man dives deep within himself, he experiences the fullness of existence. Kristen, Morrison, and Jaya Shetty.
True love is no game of the faint-hearted and weak. It is born of strength and understanding. Kyle Morrison.
Just as the eye cannot see itself, the ego is unable to end its own existence. The disappearance of the ego is conditioned by the melting away of the limited mind, which its seat. Roxanna, Naraghi.
The time of grace is so near that the only thing that can count now is love. Behnaz Baba.
I have come to sow the seed of love in your hearts, so that in spite of all your superficial diversity, which your life in illusion must experience and endure, through love is brought about amongst all nations, creeds, sects, and castes of the world. Linda O'Hare, Nadine Paul.
Help us all to love you more and more, and still yet more, until we become worthy of union with you, and help us all hold fast to Baba's Daman until the very end. Jan Mix. Let your head respond to the heart and then act accordingly. Shraddha Campbell.
Don't try to understand me, just love me. Erin Sommerville. God can only be found within you. His only abode is the heart. Kevin and Sarah Dwyer.
There is nothing love cannot achieve, and there is nothing love cannot sacrifice. Amandah Paren, Anushka Shrivastava. True love is no game of the faint-hearted and weak. It is born of strength and understanding. Marta Flores.
We are loving God if we feel for others in the same way we feel for our own dear ones. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves. If instead of robbing others to help others, we rob ourselves to help others. If we suffer in the suffering of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, if instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think ourselves more fortunate than many others, if we endure our lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, if we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is to not hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. Martha Aubin.
Ya Meher Baba, God is love. Everybody knows that. And Meher Baba is love. Meher Baba is God. Meher Baba عزیز، تو خودت با عشق خودت تمام آفرینش رو نگه دار، حفظ کن. در ضمن مهر بابای عزیز من، توی این جسم خاکی هرچی ایگو من دارم تمام ایگومو میندازم تو آتیش بسوزه و خودت کمک بکن که همه رهروانت ایگوشون از بین بره یا مهر بابا. Thank you بابا. Thank you. یا مهر بابا.
Jai Baba. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Golnaz Manouchehr-Pour. What is spirituality? Poise, perfect poise. Make the most of every situation. Ricky Crawley. Jai Baba.
Tell them what comes out of the mouth is far more important than what goes into it. James Whitson. Love can attain the intellect. Love can attain what the intellect cannot fathom. Shiva Kaladindi. Think of me before doing anything. The greatest service is to obey me. Ron Festine.
The book that I shall make read is the book of the heart, which holds the key to the mystery of life. Wendy Mirabella. Do nothing against the dictates of your own heart, even if commanded by me. Thea Griffin Elliott.
I am nearer to you than your own breath. Ellen Kwiatkowski, Carol Cole Manus, Judith Shotwell. Remember me, and I am with you, and my love will guide you. Martin Weichberger.
True love is unconquerable and irresistible. It goes on gathering power and spreading itself until eventually it transforms everyone it touches. Cushman Crawford. Your job is to remember me. Everything else is my job. Eric Tepperman.
Happiest is he who expects no happiness from others. Love delights and glorifies in giving, not receiving. So learn to love and give, and not to expect anything from others. Linda Zavalia, Joshua Breeder, Banu Nisankara. God is infinite honesty. To love God, you must be honest. Marianne Miles.
Real happiness lies in making others happy. Alicia Kendall, Amit Sharma, Joannet Montano, Rajitha G, Stephen Wynn, Xerxes Feroz Kutar, Zubin Mistry, and Sony Sood. Don't worry, be happy. Marsha Rusby, Priyanka Sharma, and Mitali Banerjee.
I have come not to teach, but to awaken. Randy Wasserstrom. All this world confusion and chaos was inevitable, and no one is to blame. What had to happen has happened, and what has to happen will happen. There was and is no way out except through my coming in your midst. I had to come, and I have come. I am the Ancient One. Wayne Myers, Buzz Glaske, Mark Bonlander, Mark Trichka, and Andrew Schott.
Distance means nothing to me. Time and space are no barriers for me. I will be with you wherever you are. Don't worry, remain happy and cheerful, and remember, I am always with you. Eric Carlson. In the realm of love, does ever the beloved reveal the ways in which he should be loved? You have to show me the way in which you love me. I am the ocean of love, and infinite are the ways that lead you to me. In love, there are no pre-prepared ways. It cuts its own way. It is creative. You have to find your own way. I am there right within to help you. Jonathan Burroughs.
If you love me, you should not try to create confusion among yourselves. You will be loving me best by loving each other. If one has to say something behind the other's back, how can you tell the world about my love? If you cannot love me as I want you to love me, it is best not to speak to the world about me. Marta Velasquez.
The way of my work is the way of effacement, which is the way of strength, not of weakness. And through it, you become mature in my love. At this stage, you cannot know what real love is. But through working for me, as you should work for me, you will arrive at that ripeness where in a moment I can give you that for which you have been millions of years seeking. Mayor Prasad Malakapalli.
Each is free to think of me and interpret my work as he feels or understands best. Either my words must be presented as they stand, or if interpreted by you, you must not fail to state it as your own interpretation. I have never denied being perfect and being the avatar, but you do not know that yet. I know I am the one, without a second, alone and matchless. You would be quite right to assert and proclaim whatever you truly believe. Me to be, never hesitate to own your faith and belief in me and about me, but do not claim to know or feel what you actually do not. Betty Lohman.
Believe me, I am the Ancient One. There is no doubt about it. I am not this body that you see. It is only a cloak. I am infinite consciousness. I sit with you, play with you, and laugh with you, simultaneously working on all the planes of consciousness. I know three things. I am the avatar in every sense of the word. Whatever I do is the expression of my unbounded love. I suffer infinite agony eternally through your ignorance. What sustains me in this my universal suffering is bliss plus my infinite sense of humor. The amusing incidents that arise at the expense of none lighten my burden. Therefore, always think of me, remain cheerful in all situations, and I am there to help you. Vijay Balakar.
Unless and until ignorance is removed and knowledge is gained, the knowledge whereby the divine life is experienced and lived, everything pertaining to the spiritual seems paradoxical God. We do not see, we say is real, and the world which we do see, we say is unreal. In experience, what exists for us does not really exist, and what does not exist for us really exists. Hemant Wakade. Continue to gather together with all enthusiasm and drown in the ocean of my silence. The voice that is heard deep within the soul is my voice, the voice of inspiration, of intuition, of guidance. Nancy Bunn. Do your best and leave the results to God. Milas Rhodes, Melody Dickinson.
Your job is to bring my name to the ear. My job is to bring it from the ear to the heart. Joan Harland. Satguru, your eternal love is still inspiring me to be like you and get myself connected with your endless grace, love, and light. Sanjay Bhansali. Once you open your wings, you must fly straight like a swan. Do not flit from tree to tree like the sparrow and get distracted on the way. Kim May Pratibha Singh.
Love God and find Him within, the only treasure worth finding. Mark Bassin, Suzy Lemieux. Everything happens by God's will and is necessary. Telly Leimbach.
Love others as you would love yourself and all that is yours. Fortunate are they whose love is tested by misfortunes. Love demands that the lover sacrifices himself for the beloved. If you have that love for me that St. Francis had for Jesus, then not only will you realize me, but you will please me. Alexander Markovic.
Remain cheerful in all your trials and know that I am with you. Irene and Cliff Ives. Baba's Nassar is on you. Baba wants you only to worry for his love and be worried to remember him constantly. The rest, leave it to him. The rest being assured that it is only achieved by his grace and will. Bill Cliff.
Essentially, we are all one. I am greater than none of you in the soul sense, and, really speaking, none of you have to receive divinity from me, the divinity that is externally existing equally in us all. What I have to give is the knowledge and the experience of the oneness of us all. Divine love knows no decay, fear, or corruption, because it is illumined by the understanding that all life is one. Arnie Goldstein.
Soon I will break my silence and give the world my real darshan. The spoken word of truth will penetrate deep into the heart of the world. Karina Page. In the silence of your perfect surrender, my love for you, which is always silent, can flow to you, to be yours always, to keep and to share with those who seek me. Asmin Siganpuria.
The whole of life is an expression of a love so great that none can fathom it. Patricia Thorne. Pure love is matchless in majesty. It has no parallel in power, and there is no darkness it cannot dispel. Payam Ajang Rus. Believe love. Jerry Seeley.
Before he can know who he is, man has to unlearn the mass of illusory knowledge he has burdened himself with on the journey from unconsciousness to consciousness. It is only through love that you can begin to unlearn, thus eventually putting an end to all that you do not know. God love penetrates the illusion, while no amount of illusion can penetrate God love. Start learning to love by beginning to love those whom you cannot. You will find that in serving others, you are serving yourself. The more you remember others with kindness and generosity, the less you remember yourself. And the less you remember yourself, the more you forget yourself. And when you completely forget yourself, you find me as the source of all love. John Justo.
Do not listen to the voice of the mind. Listen to the voice of the heart. The mind wavers, the heart does not. The mind is the home of doubts, reasoning, and theories. The heart, when purified, becomes the dwelling of the beloved. Rid your heart of low desires, malice, selfishness, and God will manifest in you as your true self. Janice, Kyle, and Paul Uccello. God is not to be learned or studied or discussed or argued about. He is to be contemplated, felt, loved, and lived. Jaswinder Kaur.
The purpose of life is to realize God within ourselves. This can be done even whilst attending to our worldly duties. John and Deb Meyer. Live more and more in the present, which is ever beautiful and stretches away beyond the limits of the past and the future. Michelle Waring. Long for what is real. You will then have no time for worrying over what may never happen. Shani Brighter.
There is no higher or lower goal. There is only one goal, self-realization. Dustin Paren. It requires great heroism to lead a spiritual life. Linda Bluen.
The seed of contrariety, spontaneously sown by the reverberations of the first urge, imperceptibly germinated and manifested for the first time in the shape of duality. Randy Buck.
Love is a gift from God to man. Obedience is a gift from master to man. And surrender is a gift from man to master. Elaine Munson. Understanding has no meaning. Love has meaning. Obedience has more meaning. Holding on to my Daman has most meaning. Frank Parker.
You and I are not we, but one. Joseph Ole O'Neill, Leslie Ann, Michael Namo Sivan, Paul Smith. The divine beloved is always with you, in you, and around you. Know that you are not separate from him. Candy Bloom.
Love is essentially self-communicative. Those who do not have it catch it from those who have it. No amount of rites, rituals, ceremonies, worship, meditation, penance, and remembrance can produce love in themselves. None of these is necessarily a sign of love. On the contrary, those who sigh loudly and weep and wail have yet to experience love. Love sets on fire the one who finds it. At the same time, it seals his lips so that no smoke comes out. Ruchi Khanna.
The source of eternal bliss is the self in all. The cause of perpetual misery is the selfishness of all. As long as satisfaction is derived from selfish pursuits, misery will always exist. Only because of the infinite love and mercy of God can man learn to realize through the lessons of misery on earth that inherent in him is the source of infinite bliss. And all suffering is his labor of love to unveil his own infinite self. Meher Bina Rong Nekar.
Once you have surrendered yourself to a guru, he has to perform his duty toward you. He cannot escape that. All that is required of you thereafter is your unbounded love and unswerving faith. These will encourage him in his duties towards you. So take your guru to be your God with as much love and faith as possible. Surrender and serve him, and then you will be saved. Marnie and Doug Frank.
If you worry about yourself, God does not worry about you. And why should he? If you stop worrying, God has to begin to worry for you. Remember him wholeheartedly. Leave your worrying to him and be free to remain cheerful. Virginia Glassky and Alan Breiter. Do not worry about anything. Keep thinking of me constantly. I am the only one that exists, the only one that matters. Eric Turk and Jess Marin.
Being is dying by loving. Glenn Russ. When nothing upsets you, you are at the beginning of the path. When you desire nothing, you are halfway on the path. When nothing becomes everything, you are perfected. Carlett Joseph.
In the entire spiritual panorama of the universe, nothing is more sublime than the spontaneous prayer. It gushes out of the human heart, filled with appreciative joy. In its highest form, prayer leaves no room for illusionary diarchy of the lover and the beloved. It is a return to one's own being. Robin Boyer. The ideal prayer to the Lord is nothing more than spontaneous praise of his being. Jonathan Pale.
Remember me, I am always with you, and my love will guide you. Keep me with you always. Love God and find him within, the only treasure worth finding. Mirawan and Zenobia Mystery. The real wealth is the amount of intensity and sincerity in longing for the love of God. Manouchehr-Pour.
But where will you look for me? I am hiding in your heart, so search for me in your heart. How will you search for me? Always remember me, call me, make me your dear friend, because I am your friend. I will respond to your call immediately. Lynn Cedar. The powerhouse will never fail, provided the wires maintain their connection with it. Meher Ramya Durham.
I am the one so many seek and so few find. Michael Kaiser. Arti and worship is for saints. I have come for love. The rest is all illusion. Do not expect anything except love. Mira Veranka.
Learn the art of taking your stand on the truth within. When you live in this truth, the result is the fusion of the mind and the heart and the end of all fears and sorrow. It is not a dry attainment of mere power or intellectual knowledge. A love which is illumined by the intuitive wisdom of the Spirit will bless your life with ever-renewing fulfillment and never-ending sweetness. Miriam Rose.
It is not so much that you are within the cosmos, but the cosmos is within you. Dylan Ullman. I am ever conscious that I am in you, while you are never conscious that I am in you. Daily I support you and share your consciousness. Now I want you to uphold me and share my consciousness one day. I am nearer to you than your own breath. Remember me, and I am with you, and my love will guide you. Ganesh Aditam.
If I am the highest of the high, my will is law, my wish governs the law, and my love sustains the universe. Raphael Villafane. There cannot be ebb and tide in eternity, no meaningless intervals between intermittent harvests, but a fulfillment of being which cannot suffer impoverishment or of a single instant. Donita Moist.
The more you remember others with kindness and generosity, the more you forget yourself. And when you completely forget yourself, you find God. Chanthan Keys. Remember, the first step in spirituality is not to speak ill of others. Try to find your own weakness and correct those. Cynthia Stevenson.
He whom I love most will always be a wreck financially, as thereby he automatically gets clean. He gets so clean that, with my Nazar, his ego goes and Baba comes. Lynn Sonner, Ajit Srivastava. I never make plans, never change plans. It is all one endless plan of making people know that there is no plan. Jim Roble.
Love is essentially self-communicative. Those who do not have it catch it from those who have it. Those who receive love from others cannot be its recipients without giving a response, which in itself is the nature of love. True love is unconquerable and irresistible. It goes on gathering power and spreading itself until eventually it transforms everyone it touches. Jeff Craddock.
I am your master, but I am also your friend. I am one of you and one with you. Scott and Nancy Lesniewski. You are and you will ever be. There is no one else but you. Instantly, in a flash, you will know everything, including why you have no beginning and no end. But this knowing will have nothing whatsoever to do with mind or reason or logic. It is beyond mind. You know the answer to everything. You know that nothing has happened and nothing will ever happen. You then experience bliss. You become all-powerful, all-knowing. Tim Barnhart.
Love is the reflection of God's unity in the world of duality. It constitutes the entire significance of creation. Andy Lesnick. The time of grace is so near that the only thing that can count now is love. Behnaz, Partovi. Your love makes me happy. Remember me wholeheartedly. I am with you. Cindy Bowes.
It is never possible to give a purely intellectual proof for the existence of God. The fact is that these intellectuals are not at all interested in God. They are only keen about argument and their own vanity. If they really wanted to know God, they would pay the price for it. They would begin to be humble and selfless and loving, and they would start attaining complete purity of heart. This will lead them on to God more surely than any amount of barren argumentation. Don Dolan.
In most persons, faith in oneself is always being challenged and undone by the constant experience of one's own frailties and failings, which often prove to be unyielding, even when one knows what is right. Self-confidence, which is thus in perpetual danger of being shattered, can be securely established only when the individual has before him the vision of a living example of perfection and has faith in it. Kendra Crossan Burroughs.
I love you more than you can ever love yourself. Ursula Reinhardt. I love artists, though through art, one can express oneself beautifully. Inca and Michael Charters. I am the universal thief. I steal hearts. Melinda Buckwalter.
The best way to cleanse the heart and prepare for the stilling of the mind is to lead a normal, worldly life. Living in the midst of your day-to-day duties, responsibilities, likes, dislikes, etc., will help you. All of these become the very means for the purification of your heart. Roxanna Nakra. The fact is, there are no hardships because everything in the world is one big zero. I see and experience this every moment. Peter Piazza.
God is omnipresent, and the one who calls out sincerely to him never fails to be heard and receive his help. Nasreen Arjang. When you leave all to me, I dare not neglect you, and you get relief from your predicament. I am the ocean of love and compassion. Namrata Amit Sharma. Do your best, then don't worry. Be happy in my love. Richard Manis.
People wait for the big moment, the great event, and forget that happiness comes from building steadily on the small things of daily life. People wait for that special moment to express love and forget that love springs from thoughtfulness practiced every day. People wait, but waiting is future, and now is always the time. Terry Levine. Mastery in Servitude. Prem Sharma, Vahi Zakarian.
God wants honesty and an open heart. Rajesh Dodrick. Live only to find and realize your true identity with your beloved God. Rosie Polo.
When you think of yourself, when you think not of yourself, but of others, the thought about your own ego is replaced by thinking of others. And gradually you forget yourself in serving others. Stephanie Connon. No amount of prayer or meditation can do what helping others can do. Beverly Rhinesmith Pape. When love is present, the path to the truth is joyous. Rocky Sharma.
To penetrate into the essence of all being and significance, and to release the fragrance of that inner attainment for the guidance and the benefit of others, by expressing in the world of forms truth, love, purity, beauty. This is a soul game which has any intrinsic and absolute worth. All happenings, incidents, and attainments in themselves can have no lasting importance. Maureen Lehman, Cheryl Johnson, Fariz T. Azad, Trisha Migdal, Kira Olson.
Let these words be inscribed in your heart. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. Donalyn Carpels, Catherine Thompson, Ken Cedar, Chris Haffenden, Biff Sofer, Tim Hurley. My center is the heart of every lover. Every lover with a heart that loves Baba is a center. Jan Kotu.
The moment the intensity of your faith in my will reaches its height, you say goodbye to worry forever. Then, all that you suffered and enjoyed in the past, together with what you may experience in the future, will be to you the most loving and spontaneous expression of my will, and nothing will ever be able to cause you worry again. Jeff Wolverton.
Now, none can escape karma, actions, but the actions must be done in such a way that reverse sankharas. Impressions are formed to counterbalance the ordinary sankharas. Devotion, charities, prayers, bhajans, kirtan, name repetition create sankharas that they burn away the ordinary sankharas. Kanji, meow. Evil is the lingering relic of earlier good. Shirin Snyder.
Remember me wholeheartedly, and you will feel my presence wherever you are. Mick Hamilton. Do not worry, be happy in my love, and continue to hold fast to my Daman to the very end. Rest assured that all will be divinely well. God does not abandon those who trust him. Those who love me and obey me as I should be loved and obeyed will one day similarly be loved and obeyed. Those who have today willingly chosen to become my slaves will become true masters tomorrow. Rajat Mishra.
One who calls out sincerely to God never fails to be heard and to receive his help. Steve Jacobs. Constant remembrance of the word of his name and the form in which he manifested consumes the mind. Choiceless awareness of his ever-renewing and indivisible presence, both in and around us, lifts the curtain that veils our vision from the truth. Al Grasso.
The self, in fact, is a limitless, indivisible, spiritual essence, eternal in its nature and infinite in its resources. Sam Ervin.
Surrender and you become one with Baba. Shaheen Sadi. Baba, help us all to love you more and more with every breath. Mayara Mer Punan.
What a privilege it is to bathe ourselves in this outpouring of Meher Baba's love through all those who have offered his words from their hearts. These quotations represent but a small sample of Avatar Meher Baba's sublime messages, sent from the depths of his silence to reassure and guide mankind.